The hook I'm using, this is a Salar silver hook, obviously a double, and it's a size 7. Tie them as big as small as you like, it's up to yourself. And we start the thread at that point, and the thread is a uni thread in 8/0, which is fine. For the rib and the tag, I'm going to use a small oval silver tinsel, or number 14, which is the vineyard one. Just catch this in. Take the thread down until I'm in line with the points of the hook, this point here, and then I'm going to take 4 turns down the bend, and then bring the oval tinsel between the hook, which will basically lock in the tag. This is forming the tag. Take the thread up, full length of the body, come back down. Separates the tag and the rib. So if you burst the tag, the rib should stay, or vice versa, whatever. For the tail, it's going to use a golden pheasant crest feather. Now, what you can see here. Now I've dyed this sunburst, so you can see it's much golden, more yellow, stronger. You could use a natural, it's up to yourself. Taking a feather off. Length, 10th, looking around about more, it's up to yourself, it's the style you like. You could tie it quite long, you can tie it short, but I'm looking for a style around about the length of the body, over the back. Now hold the tail in your finger and thumb, go over 2 or 3 turns to hold it. Check the length, that looks about right. And trim it the full length of the body, it's there. Now, the fly has normally got a blue tag. Now to give that impression of that, I'm going to use some dyed blue, Kingfisher blue, grey squirrel. Tie this on, so the blue tips are showing, just only the blue tips. It's on the top of the tail. Just make sure these are all secure. I wax my thread and work my way up. Trim away the excess. Just make sure these are tied down. And I'm going to moisten my fingers just to show you how these blend together. The blue, so you can see the blue on it in the water. It just swims well. It's all the way down. And then I'm going to work my way back up. It's just tying this in. Now I'm going to build up the colour combination of 4 furs, or 4 materials. Best to like seal's fur, or whatever you've got, like SLF. It's up to yourself. Now I'm using a nice Invictor yellow, if you want to call it that. It's a darker yellow, a golden yellow. Just form nice body with it, just nice and tight. See how it's sitting, looks okay. Next is red. Now there is a wee bit of SLF mixed through the seal's fur here. Stuff you can do when you're tying your own flies, you can blend the dubbins to suit yourself. So you can blend into the seals for something else as a binding agent, which I'll do like rabbit or something. Let me drop more here. Now don't worry, don't want it too heavy, but you don't want it too thin because you want to blend these furs together. Next is a fiery brown, and then claret. Sometimes I just like to mix the claret through the fiery brown. Now it's quite a dark claret, it's quite black looking. I mean, in mixing it, just get some of the claret onto it near the front. Tighten them up, make sure they stay nice and neat. And there's some of your claret. And I'm going to bring my rib up through, around about 5 turns or so. Across your thread. Make sure you wax your thread at this point to give yourself plenty of grip. Trim away your rib. At this point, just tidy up. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come in with some Velcro and really rough up your body. Get the works. This blend of the yellow, red, fiery brown, claret just is amazing. Don't be shy with it. As I'm saying, don't put it on too thin because you'll just see black thread. And there we are. Now that once that's wet, it's really like having a palmed hackle down the body, as you can see. The seals fur mixes and swims well with the rest of the fly. Now get yourself some dyed black, either rhea or blue-eared pheasant. Try to remember the name there. Now some of the feathers are crap, the stems really break, so what I do is to use the feathers up, is to tear these fibres off. Just form like a fibred wing, if you want, or legs. And you can roll them on your fingers, just to make sure the fibres separate. Length isn't up to yourself. I'll usually like to give it more a sort of long D-like hackle, just twice the length of the hook, just about. You could go less, it's up to yourself. I really like a nice mobile fly, so now all I'm going to do here is encourage these fibres round the hook, just using my fingers and the thread. Something you practice. At this point you can just check the length as well. And they're sitting the way you like. I like to see a good length in it, and if you just like a wee touch longer, a wee touch, so just go back and pull them. I like to have the length in it. It's no use using these feathers unless you're really using up the length. If you want a shorter hackle or so, then use a different one. And once you're happy, just come in and trim this away. Now the head area, looking at least 2.5 to 3 millimeters of an area, depending as well the type of knot that you use. Tidy up, wax your thread, tie it down. There we are. What I'm doing here is hugging the fibre along the side. To give you an idea, a fly has been fished, has a better shape in my view once it's been fished. You're just placing these materials ready for that. Now for the throat you could use teal, you could use whatever you like. I'm using here, this is the Widgeon, which I like. It's a really nice strong black and white bar on it. Now I've got a single feather and I've been using it up, so I'm cutting out the centres and so on. Now what you can simply do is you can either mix them up, the fibres, or you can tie them in and brush them out. But just to give you an idea, just the barb of the hook is about the throat length. Just going to turn it upside down, pinch and loop it, tie it down. At this point you can move the fibres around to get them to sit the way you want. And you can see that it's more a wing-like, but what I'm going to do is tighten up here. And then I'm going to blend and mix this into the blue-eared pheasant so it's had a fish or a cast or two. There we are. Then trim it away. Some more wax onto your thread. I want a nice wing. Now the wing I'm going to use here, this is fox dyed brown. It's fox tail. This is the smaller stuff right at the bottom. short one, a nice mix of guard hair and underfur. Not too heavy, don't want too much of it. Come in, pinch and loop. Trim away the excess. Drop more wax onto your thread. And then just look at the fly, make sure you've got a nice, reasonable shape. Everyone's tied in. And jungle cock eyes, which is up to yourself how you put them on. Still a nice fly without the eyes, but now you could drop the eyes, meaning put them on so they sit like down into the dressing, like traditional way of tying the D flies. Or like I'm just going to use this as an eye. So sit them on the side. Put one individually or together like I'm doing. Just check they're sitting reasonably straight and they look okay. Slightly up into the wing, yep. Then tuck them back like I like to do if I can. Sometimes you can't always do that, but I just form a nice head. Looks okay. Now I'd rather keep the thread tight and finish. Break these eyes off. Oh, sorry, not the eyes, but the remains of your jungle cock eyes. I like to get them nice, hugging the side of the fly. And there we go. Trim away your thread. And then varnish. Now, what I like to do is come in with the fine or super glue. Now you don't want to touch any of your dressing, just lightly all the way around. This will seal your thread turns solid. Just look at the shape that you're forming, you can form a shape using it. That looks okay. Just give that a few minutes to dry, a couple of minutes, it should be fine. Now, once that's, as I say, once that gets in the water, you've got a lovely teardrop shape and a lot of movement. And obviously the colour's there. The colour's really good. And there we are. Now, I'm just going to show you the colour a wee bit better, but a direct light onto the dressing. Now, if I just come under here, you can see, there's how the colour comes through. Imagine the sun shining through that. The blue you can't see too well because of my shirt being blue, but you'll see it there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that modern twist to an old fly. I'm sure if you tie them up, you'll catch a few fish.